I need to flip around because they're getting me on your live feed here. Oh, I just got out of, no, I didn't. Okay, here we go. Let's. So how do I turn this around? It's on me.
Okay. Say hello, Kristen.
Hello.
Let's see.
There we go, right there. Okay, just gotta be smarter than the camera here. Okay, looks like we have some people on.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
You must be in Zoom if you can talk back to me.
Yep.
All right. Who am I talking to?
Well, Sue Woods for one.
Hi, Sue. Who else we got? I know it's a little early, a couple minutes early.
Looks like we have Jonathan.
Hi, sister. Jeannie's here.
Sister who?
Jeannie.
Jeannie. Hi, Jeannie. Kristen said she made the fish for Israel and he loved it.
Awesome.
What kind of, you used cod though, didn't you?
I used cod, and it was really good. I liked the haddock better, so we'll have to make that next time.
We're having trouble getting halibut down here. Who else is in the Zoom room? I can't see you. I'm on this side of the camera. I apologize about the recipes. I thought the recipes were attached, and then I've been running around all day, so I didn't see your messages that you didn't have your recipes. So I apologize that you just now got your recipes. So, but we will wing it for you guys, all right? And also, your Google Doc will follow. And so what I'm gonna break down in the Google Doc is, we're gonna talk about flour more in depth, and we're gonna talk about cheeses more in depth this week, since we've got so many different cheeses. And then I'm gonna tell you a little bit of the difference, why we're gonna use bread flour to make the dough, all right? So, it is just now 6 o'clock. I usually give it a little bit of time for people the latecomers to come in. But in 19 seconds, the lasagna noodles should be done. So that's what I've been doing here. I've been working on the lasagna noodles. Just put a little bit of oil in the water so the noodles don't stick to each other. You can put a little dash of salt. You don't have to put salt, especially if you're health conscious, you've got any high blood pressure issues going on, you don't want to add any salt, right? Because there's enough salt content just in the sodium content in anything preserved. Now, my daughter-in-law, she has her own pasta maker, and she is brave enough to make her own pasta, not me. So I just make it out of the box. All right, so we're gonna get this lasagna over here and drain it. So, and this is very heavy and very hot. So, I'm just gonna drain it out here. steam is enough to burn you, so you have to be careful, right? And so usually I like to have 9 pieces of lasagna, 3 across for each layer. And so I usually put in a few more pieces than 9, just in case one of your pieces break, right? Now Brock, you know, I told you before, Brock, my oldest one is an actual chef, and he's like, he would just be very upset with me right now if he saw that I poured out that pasta water, because he's like, that's like gold to him, pasta water. And he does all kinds of things with the pasta water. What? I have no idea. But he thinks the pasta water is like gold because it has the starches in it. So there's the lasagna, and there's the lasagna pan that we'll start layering in here in a minute or two. And I will go ahead and put the first layer in before they start sticking. So even though it's hot, I'll be very careful, but you don't want your noodles to start sticking to each other. And like I said, I put some oil in it, so hopefully it won't. And I did put a little bit of oil in the bottom of this pan as well. I use the olive oils. I told you before, I go to Ancient Oils. I love that store. And there's a lot of those stores around. And the oil that I put in the bottom of this one is oil and butter. But I also have this oil that we're going to use when we work on our marinara sauce, and it's herbs of Provence. So it's a lot like a lot of different Italian spices in it. So it will work right along with our Italian thing. So the other thing that I want to get started right away so that we can have this ahead of us is the pizza dough. So is Jenna with us today? Are you with us, Jenna?
Yes, Heidi.
Okay, there's Jenna. Jenna sent in the zucchini recipe for the zucchini pizza. So she didn't have the dough recipe, but I grabbed the dough recipe because while I was on the plane, if you guys know Chip and Joanna Gaines from Magnolia Table, I was able to watch all of the Magnolia Table episodes. And one of her episodes, she was making pizza, and she had the crust. So I grabbed her crust recipe, and we're going to do that. So one of the things...
Well, actually, Heidi,
Mm-hmm.
the zucchini pizza doesn't need dough, so the zucchini would act as the dough.
Ah, okay. So the zucchini was the layer for the dough.
Yeah, so you'd put the zucchini down, and then you'd put the tomato sauce or whatever pasta sauce you'd like, however you make your pizza, season it, cheese, and then whatever topping you want on it, and then shove it in. A couple people do it differently, so you can do cut the zucchini in half and have it like a flatbread kind of pizza, or you can cut it up like you'd cut up a cucumber for a salad in little tiny circular pizzas.
Okay. Oh, cool. So I didn't even need to get some dough.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, are you okay with me making dough?
Absolutely. Yeah. Whatever. It's
Okay.
cooking class. Yeah. It's like learning.
All right. So one of the things, and that's what we're going to talk about, is the different kind of flours. So here's bread dough. Why do you use bread dough? Because and it says right on it, it has more gluten and more protein in it, and so that will make it hold together better and rise better when we go to do the yeast. We'll also have all-purpose flour. You see, I'm using King Arthur. My grandmother loved King Arthur's, and she couldn't get it in Knox, Indiana, North Judson, Indiana, where we lived. So when I lived in Louisville, she was always like, "Bring me back some King Arthur flour." So she's the one who loved King Arthur flour, and they are 100% employee owned too, which is a nice thing. And sometimes I can get the organic. So this one's not organic, but this one is. So it's nice. So then you have all-purpose flour versus self-rising flour. So when you make the biscuits, I use the self-rising flour. So otherwise you have to work on, you know, what we did last week. We had the baking soda and salt, and that was your leavening agent, right? This week we're going to have yeast as our leavening agent. Or if you just use self-rising flour, then, self-rising flour, it already has the leavening agent in it. Now, the other thing is, if you're trying to be gluten-free, then you have almond flours and quinoa flour. Remember we talked about when we did the quinoa that there's quinoa flour. So quinoa flour has the extra protein in it. Almond flour, not so much about protein, it's more of a finishing flour, does have a little bit of sweetness to it, so it's nice if you're actually doing a pastry bake. And you have to experiment with them because they have different textures. Like quinoa flour has the extra protein, but it's also heavier than like an all-purpose flour. So you usually have to kind of cut it with a lighter flour. So for instance, you might do so much of quinoa flour and add a little bit of almond flour because it's lighter. And when you get doing gluten-free flours, you kind of have to experiment with them to find the right texture. So really, I like chickpea flour because to me, has the most competitive texture as regular flour, and that's the texture that I found is easiest to cook with. But it seems to be awful hard to find. So, but if you can find
Doesn't it also have the most protein in it?
It and quinoa are pretty packed with protein. So those.
Oh, I thought you did in chickpea too, had the most protein.
Yeah, it has a lot of protein. I'm not sure who has the most, but chickpea I think has like 8 grams of protein in the flour, which is really nice. That's a real nice amount of protein. I don't know if quinoa tells us how much protein it has in it. But 4 grams. It says 4 grams of protein. So chickpea would have more. But as far as when you're trying to experiment with your textures, I found chickpea is the easiest. It's just harder to find than other flours. One thing I can tell you, I made a mistake, and I'll save you from the mistake. I tried tapioca flour, and it's like sticky flour, and it was a mess. It was sticky because it was full of gluten, I guess. It was just real sticky. So I'll save you from that mistake. If you're doing tapioca flour, I'm not sure what you would do with that. But it was just a sticky mess. So, yeah, so good luck with experimenting with the flour. So it's good. And it's good for you, like with the extra protein and things like that. So, but tonight we're using the bread flour. So let's go over here and get our crust rising. All right. So where to go? Okay, I got recipes hiding everywhere. So I have all the recipes. I finally shared them with you all. So, okay. So we're supposed to get 1 cup of warm water here. See if our water needs warmed up. It might need warmed up a little bit. I'll get some more warm water. It was warm once upon a time, but it's gotten cold on us. So we'll get
Hey Heidi, I just checked and you can get chickpea flour on Azure Standard.
An Azure Standard.
Azure Standard, AZURE Standard. They have this, they have really good natural stuff, and you order online from them, and they have trucks that bring it to special areas all over the U.S.
Really?
Kind of like a co-op almost.
Yeah, kind of, but you don't have to buy into it.
I never heard of that. So maybe you can send me the link soon.
You're breaking up, I can't hear you.
Maybe you can send me the link.
I will.
Okay, thank you.
I'll put it in the message thing right here.
Okay, great. I'm just heating the water up because it takes forever. So I'll just heat it up in the microwave. You have to have the warm water because we're going to activate the yeast. So the water has to be warm for the yeast. So we're going to activate the yeast or cause the yeast to bloom, like we did the spices the other day. So it's not quite warm enough. It is. The microwave is a funny thing, isn't it? It's because it gets in there and it actually moves. It works by friction. It moves the molecules. Isn't that odd? And not everything moves at the same rate. Water is one of those things. Eggs are really weird in the microwave. Yeah.
My granddaughter taught me if you take a little Ziploc bag and you put your mixed up eggs in there, you can put them in for a minute, not much, and you can cook eggs, scrambled eggs in the microwave.
Yeah. Now I might have 2 more. Yeah, you want to puncture your yolk, otherwise you're really going to be in trouble with your
Yeah,
eggs.
they got to be scrambled, and just put them in a little Ziploc bag and stick them in there for 30 seconds or a minute.
Now I might have got the water too hot, and I don't want to kill my yeast. So I really All right, so we have a cup of warm water and 1 thing of yeast. And do you remember when we were going through the pandemic that yeast became a thing that was hard to find? Does anybody remember that?
You're breaking up. I can't hear you.
That yeast became a problem during the pandemic. People were having a hard time finding it. So we dissolve yeast in the warm water, and then we take the sugar to activate the yeast. And then once the yeast starts moving around, kind of bubbling, we'll know it's activated. And while we're doing that, then we take the bread flour. So I have 2.5 cups of bread flour here. And let's see, bread flour and the salt. And let's see, bread flour, salt, and then the olive oil. So we gotta let this bloom first, and then we'll add it all together. So here's the bread flour, here's the salt, and then we'll get the olive oil going. Which I have the regular olive oil here from Amit. You remember Amit was our tour guide in Israel. And so this is straight olive oil from Israel. So we'll use that. And we need 2 tablespoons. But we have to wait until this blooms. So we're going to let that bloom for a minute. In the meantime, we can get started here on our zucchini. So where did the zucchini go?
I have the bowl of it over there and then the display over here.
So this is what Jen is going to do with her zucchini pizza. All right. So she's got zucchini. She said you can add pepperoni if you like, and mozzarella, Asiago, and Parmesan. So the Parmesan here is, what do you call it? Shredded, right? Shredded. And Asiago and mozzarella. And then I have some pesto that I picked up, again, in that ancient oil store. And then I've got some pizza sauce. So I didn't want to make my own pizza sauce. So, okay. So what do we do here, Jenna? We got to get some oil in the pan, right?
Usually I just kind of, like, I don't hand make my own pasta or pizza sauce, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I just, you mean the zucchini, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, brown both sides of the zucchini in a pan or griddle, whatever you have.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they're done, just set them aside.
Oh,
So you'll just let them simmer and then flip them occasionally to check.
okay. So we'll start browning our zucchini. So I'm just getting the oil on the pan here. And Kristen was nice enough to cut up the zucchini for us. You know who loves zucchini? Pastor Charles. He loves zucchini so much he wants it cut up in his eggs in the morning. And he did, for years and years and years, have his own garden. And of course he grew zucchini, he grew tomatoes, he grew everything. Summer squash. Summer squash is my favorite. I like the summer squash. But Charles loves zucchini. And Fran would make zucchini bread. But Charles would scramble it in eggs. That's what he loved every day. While they're in season, Charles would scramble them in eggs. And if I was to take him up there right now and scramble them in eggs for him, he would be in his glory. Do you salt and pepper or anything, Jenna?
I would normally add that like on top of the sauce, but if you feel like you want to add that there, it's just whatever you prefer to do, really.
Okay. Now this crazy skillet, it will get too hot all of a sudden, so we're going to have to watch it because we're dealing with this electric stove situation. So. Do you just do one layer at a time? Is it better that way?
Yeah, because sometimes flipping the zucchini is a little harder when there's like too much in the skillet or whatever, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm starting to smell the yeast. I don't know if you can smell the yeast, but it's not boiling or anything yet, or bubbling. So it's not blooming yet, but you can start smelling it. And you put sugar in it because it literally is alive. And so it will eat the sugar. So there you go. Diabetics will get yeast infections because they will eat the sugar. So if you're diabetic, my daughter-in-law, she's a PA, a physician's assistant. She said one of the symptoms that you may be a diabetic and not know it is if you start getting yeast infections. And so if you start getting yeast infections a lot, have them check you for diabetes because you may be, you have excess sugar and you don't even know it. So sugar and yeast go together. Stop eating sugar and you have what some people refer to as a yeast beast, it will die down in your system. So, one more reason to stop eating sugar. All right, this is starting to fry up. And you said just gently brown it, Jenna?
Just as long as it looks like golden brown or like it starts looking like yellow. Like you don't want to overdo it because you are going to be cooking them a little more later. But yeah, just golden brown.
Okay. And then we put it on here. When we brown it, then we move it over here.
Once both sides are browned, you'll move them onto the baking sheet and then assemble the ingredients on top of that.
Okay. So Jenna is Tara and Ryan's daughter. Yay! And Jenna graduated this year, right, Jenna?
I'm sorry if you're talking to me, you're cutting out a little bit. I can't hear you.
You graduated this year, correct?
I graduated Last year, yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I was telling everybody that you are Ryan and Tara's daughter. So people can make that
Yeah.
connection. Yes. And very sweet. And you went to Alabama with us this year.
I did go to Alabama. I really loved it. It was a really good conference.
Mm-hmm. And you're in other classes besides this one. So you've been taking some Bible classes.
Yes, I did. I took a lot of demonology classes. I think I took the first two, and I took the forgive me, my brain is fogging. I took the beginner class. I can't remember what that's called right now.
Okay.
And I think I might have taken something else too, but I can't quite remember.
That's awesome. We need more young people in our classes.
Yeah.
We need to be able to figure out how to recruit more young people. Make it relevant to the young people today.
Are you wearing your microphone or is it on the camera?
It's on the camera.
She needs to be closer to you then.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm closer, that means this one is like right on you.
We'll have to have Israel come up with a...
We have a little
fix.
lapel thing that we can have you wear next week.
And as you guys know, Kristen is doing the camera work, and Kristen is Israel's wife. So you have the Pastor's Wives Club here. I'm just worried because this thing gets hot all of a sudden, and I don't want it to burn. It's just starting to burn. How is the yeast doing?
It's looking good to me.
It's not bubbling though. Oh, yeah, it's starting to bubble. So squash is usually a good vitamin A. The yellow squash especially has a lot of good vitamin A in it. So that's the nice thing about it. Vitamin C as well, and then some of your B vitamins. But that's the nice thing about squash is you get those vitamin A's, which you don't always get from your other veggies. The other nice one for vitamin A is strawberries. Strawberries are full of A's and C's. Berries are your superfruit. Any berries you eat are really good for you. Blackberries, raspberries used to have things in them that were good against cancer, but it's hard to find raspberries native enough anymore that still have those properties. I know that there are some, like in the wilds of Alaska, or way up north in Canada, that are still, what's the word? No, they're not hybrid. I'm looking for the right word. Heirloom. They're like heirloom enough. But they haven't touched anything else. The nature hasn't been destroyed yet. Okay, they're starting to brown. I probably should have had some of these brown because now I'm not going to be able to get there. And Kristen has her hands full with the camera, so she can't help me. Because what I need to do is get our marinara going for our lasagna. So. You get it browner than that, Jenna? Can you see?
I would let them go a little bit more. Like once you see the seeds in the zucchini, like kind of like start popping out as a little more brownish,
Like
you'll
that?
be able to move them. But again, it's really up to preference. Like if you don't really like the texture of too much cooked zucchini, you might want to let it out a little more or take it off earlier. But again, it's up to you.
A little more. Once the seeds kind of get brown. How many people do we have in there? Can you tell? Kristen? So we went to Tennessee, as you guys know.
9.
9? We have 9 tonight? Okay. So we went to Tennessee this weekend, which was a great weekend with Pastor Tony McAfee. And that was really nice. And then on Monday, Pastor taped with Pastor Philip Cameron. Did a television show with him. Now, he has ministries in Ukraine and has before the war ever broke out. He has been doing a lot of work in Ukraine, especially does work with women that have been, he pulls them out of the sex trafficking, which is terrible in Ukraine. It's a terrible, terrible situation that these women are in Ukraine. And as he said, the Russian soldiers that are there are doing atrocities, just like Hamas is doing in this war situation. And so he's rescuing these women, and then they need healed. And so he's working on those fronts. His wife, she hosts women's groups that come, and then they get all kinds of donations from all over the world. And she has this big room that's set up like a Christmas all year round. And in this room, they sort all the donations that come in. And because you have to sort them, and then you have to have your manifest. Your manifest has to be absolutely perfect. Otherwise, they will confiscate all your things. I mean, absolutely perfect, down to last piece of a sock. And so, and I think he said it's something like 22 or 25, what do you call those, containers that go, or pallets that go on a container, something like that. And so they have this huge sorting room, and his wife will get volunteer women's groups, and it just looks like Christmas all year round. And that's what they do. They come in there, they sort all of that, and they have that all going on. I'll finish browning some of these and add some to them. And so it's just an amazing work that he does. And so he taped Pastor Paul on his show. His show's on Daystar. It's called Daily Faith, as well as other television channels, CTN I know, and another one that I can't remember at the moment. So you can be watching for Pastor Paul to be on, I think he had 3 or 4 shows that they taped that Pastor Paul will be on with him. And he was very interested in everything that Pastor Paul was doing, did very nice interviews with us, and had a new little granddaughter. She was a month old, just 4 weeks old, wrapped up, just swaddled up, gorgeous, gorgeous. Her name was Annabelle. Just, you know, me and babies. She was just adorable. And she was going for her 1 month old checkup. But she was just beautiful. And of course, he was just beside himself with his little grandbaby. So, beautiful family. What a beautiful, beautiful family. There is a prayer request though. He's from Scotland, even though he's been here maybe almost 30 years, it's like 20 some years he's been here. But he had brought his niece over, and they had a 10-month-old baby. Now get this, the 10-month-old baby had something wrong with its kidney when it was born in Scotland. Now Scotland has socialized medicine, correct? And so whatever was wrong with its kidney caused the one kidney to be infected. And this kidney has been infected since the child was born. So instead of doing anything, because you're in socialized medicine, they have just been treating infection on and off, on and off, on and off. And so this baby has been going into like sepsis with 104, 105 temperature, clinging to life, literally. And this happened literally on Saturday when we were there. We were just flying in on Saturday, so we didn't know any of this till Sunday. That this baby had been flown in to the children's hospital there, and the whole church had been praying, and the fever broke within 30 minutes of them praying. Praise God, right? But still, they were doing special meetings to say, hey, what are we going to do? And they're like, why on earth? Because they had an ostomy into this one kidney that was bad. And they're like, why on earth did they just not remove this kidney that gets infected and has been the source of infection this whole time? So they were having meetings about should they remove this kidney. So pray for this baby and this mother and this father that have been on this roller coaster with this sick baby this whole time. It's in the Children's Hospital there in Knoxville, Tennessee. And, you know, just imagine you in a different country altogether, and your baby ends up in ICU, you know, in a children's hospital, clinging to life. And they said that the people from the church there went up with Chick-fil-A, you know, just something for the parents to have something to eat. And they were so touched by that. They were like, we cannot believe that people that don't know us would come up here with food. I mean, they were just so touched by that with that act of kindness. And so keep praying that God is doing a work there with that family and with that baby. So please pray for that. I don't think, nobody ever gave me the name of the baby, but pray for that family. It's Philip Cameron's niece and her baby. So we're browning zucchini is what we're doing here. And talking about babies and ministry, and that's what we do. We're Rachel's Heart, right? That's what we've been doing for I don't know how many years now. Cooking and taking care of babies. Isn't that what we do?
Yep.
I can tell you, I'm going to go home. I'm going home to Indiana here in a couple weeks. But before that, my grandbabies are coming here. So that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's all about family. It's all about taking care of each other, loving each other. That's what it's all about. And food is one way to do that. Food is one way to show your love for your family. right? I think I'm gonna just try Jenna's way with just a zucchini crust. That sounds healthier anyways. But I don't know what that yeast is doing over there. Yeah, it looks like it might be ready actually. But I'm gonna run out of time. All right, Jenna, we're about to get these zucchinis done here soon. They smell good, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Smell like good fresh zucchini. I thought about adding eggplant, but then we'd be cooking and cooking all night. But we talked about eggplant last week.
You could make moussaka, that's eggplant, and it's just basically the same thing as lasagna.
Eggplant and what else?
Cottage cheese and hamburger and the lasagna noodles, and I'd have to look up the recipe.
Yeah, look it up, Sue, and send it to us. We're almost going to fill up the pan, Jenna. I think we've about got it.
You ever use a spice called za'atar?
Yes, I do.
I love za'atar. I just learned about it this year. I put it on everything.
I have it here somewhere. I brought it back from Israel with me. But it's za'atar is actually hyssop. Did you know that?
Well, it's got several things in it, but one of the things that has in it is sumac.
Uh-huh. So the hyssop in the Bible, hyssop, Hyssop, that's za'atar.
It's spelled Zahtar.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got sesame seeds in it. I put it on my hamburgers and basically everything I eat. I love it. I put it on my eggs.
In Israel, it's green. Is yours green?
No, it's not. Well, kind of.
It's green and it's on bread. A lot of bread.
It's kind of
seasoned
brownish
with it.
green.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting it from over there, and it's I think there's more than one kind. Yours is probably traditional, and if it's green, it's probably fresher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty green. Okay, so now what do we do next? We get the sauce and heat it up?
What?
Is that Jenna?
Yes.
We get the sauce and heat it up? Is that what we do next?
No, so you don't need to heat up the sauce at all.
Oh, don't need to heat it
It'll
up.
heat up as you put it in the pan. So when you get all of the zucchinis laid out on the baking sheet with the aluminum foil,
Mm-hmm.
you'll take I usually take like a tablespoon or something, or just like a spoon, whatever you got around, and take a little dab and like kind of smear it over the slice of zucchini,
Okay.
and repeat the process for each little zucchini slice.
Mm-hmm.
And then after you get the sauce, you can put the spices on top. If you liked everything like mixed in and that would make you more comfortable, then by all means heat up the sauce and mix in whatever spices you like.
Mm-hmm.
But I just typically just sprinkle it on top, and then I'll put the cheese on top, and then my mom loves pepperoni on her zucchini pizza, so I'll take like a little pepperoni slice and put it on top of the slices. And then once you get that all done, put it in the oven and broil it for however long.
Okay, so we just put the sauce right on top? We don't have to heat up the sauce or anything?
Nope, you just take it, plop it on there. Like I said, I usually use a spoon.
Okay.
It's easier and less messy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I just got this pizza sauce. It is organic. So that's just the kind I got. There's all kinds of pizza sauce. What kind do you use, Jenna? Do you have a certain brand you like?
We normally just use grocery store brand. We use Giant brand.
Uh-huh.
But really it's whatever we have. So like say we have leftovers from whatever we made that had like sauce like that before, we just use it up.
Uh-huh. Smells good. Smells amazing. So we got pepperoni for your mom. So
Yes, my mom she likes zucchini pizza, but she loves it with pepperoni. It's her favorite.
all right. Yep. I think we about got it all covered up. All right. Good job. And then I got your 3 different cheeses that you asked for. Ooh, that's hot. Okay, so we have the pepperoni, and then I got Parmesan, shredded Parmesan. I got Asiago, and it was shredded like this. And then I got mozzarella like this. So we got a little bit of everything. I did get a little bit of basil though, pesto, because I like pesto. And it's amazing. It really is amazing. So I'm just going to dab a little bit of pesto here and there on it. This pesto can go a long way because it's a little bit powerful. So we'll just dab a little. A little dab will do you of that pesto. Believe you me. But it is amazing. Pesto is amazing. And like I said, I got this. You can make your own pesto. I have made my own pesto before. Sarah, I was talking to Kristen before you guys came on. Sarah, my daughter-in-law, the one that Drew's married to, that they live out in North Carolina, loves to cook too, and she makes her own pesto as well. And because when you grow basil in your yard, it just starts coming in and it kind of goes crazy. So you just take basil, you chop it up, garlic, olive oil. You can put a little bit of lemon in it. And then it does call for pine nuts, but we have a real bad allergy to pine. Brock and I both do, so I stay away from pine nuts. She has done pine nuts, and she said it takes so many pine nuts, and they're so expensive. So the last time she stayed away from the pine nuts too, just because they're so expensive, and they're just these little teeny tiny things. It's just kind of ridiculous. But anyways, I will get away from the pine nuts story. Where's the rest of the pepperonis at?
Oh, they're just right over there with all the
Okay.
other stuff.
So I didn't know that Tara was the one who wanted the pepperonis. So. But I'm sure that Pastor in Israel will like the pepperoni addition as well. So we'll add the pepperonis. So pepperonis and zucchini and a little pesto changio.
Kathy said that she's made pesto with sunflower seeds.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Yeah, that wouldn't be too much different than pine.
And pre-sliced almonds also.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Yeah. All right. So we have Parmesan that's shredded. Parmesan is so good, especially really good Parmesan like this. It's really good. And Asiago, love Asiago too. That's a really good choice, Jenna. Really nice choice to put on your pizza. These are shavings of Asiago. You can smell this Asiago. It smells good. And then we got some mozzarella slices. Like Kristen was saying ahead of before you guys got on, we've got all the ingredients. We could make caprese. Could do that too. And how many minutes in the oven?
So you're gonna want to broil it, and it's going to be like minimum 5 minutes and max 15. My oven is a little silly and it takes a little bit, but just make sure you check it because it's so easy to burn.
I have never broiled out of this, but I do have it turned up to the 450.
Since there's no crust under it to hold like a pizza, do you just eat it with a fork?
Yeah, I eat it with a fork. And my family eats pizza with a fork anyway. But yeah, you just eat it with a fork, cut into it, divide it however you please.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the other layers of the lasagna then, because we only have like 10 minutes left. So then at least you'll see the layers of the lasagna, and then of course you can layer it any way you want. But first of all, let's do the ricotta here. Put this on the side here. So here's ricotta cheese. I have about 16 ounces. You can do whatever you want. Some people don't like ricotta. They like cottage cheese. They do it with cottage cheese. I love ricotta cheese. Lexi, my granddaughter, and I are kind of like ricotta nuts. We both love ricotta cheese a lot, to the point that it gets our family members upset with us. So, and then you take like 3 eggs and work that in, make it even richer. And then here you can add garlic, even more garlic, because we're going to put garlic in our marinara sauce. Whew. This garlic is still maintaining. So you would put about 2 cloves of garlic in here. So I don't know what that would be here, but think about 2 cloves. That's a generous 2 cloves. But I am Polish, so what do you think? I grew up on garlic. So that is another cheese layer. Remember, this is 6 cheese. And the reason I made it this way was because I had some people who were vegetarian in our group. And so we made it 6 cheese. Now I did send you the recipe that you can make it with meat or without meat. And this time we're making it meatless. But all you have to do is add some Italian sausage and hamburger together, and you can make it with meat. Now, my aunt, when she made lasagna, she would make pork neck bones and put it in it as well. It was an all-day process with her because she made her own sauce. I'm not making my own sauce. And the real Italian grandmother, that my cousin, she had an Italian grandmother on her father's side, and we would go to her house. They call it gravy. So she would call her gravy grandma. So, all right, so that's the ricotta layer. And this, we're gonna make up the marinara sauce. So I told you we were gonna use the herb de Provence because you can't smell it, but I can. It already has a lot of Italian seasonings in it, infused into the oil. So I just love these oils. And so we'll get that going. And we'll get some more garlic in it.
I love garlic too, and a friend of mine used to make something called 40 clove chicken. And it was delicious, but I don't have her recipe, but it's online.
Oh yeah?
Do you want me to find it and send it to you?
That would be cool, yeah. So
It's French. It's a French dish.
Oh, French dish. Cool. Well, it's around the world with Heidi, so we'll go to France next. You never know. So we're going to do the oil with the garlic and onions. Kind of a lot of onion. And that's just going to be the base for the marinara. Get that translucent. As you know, you do that for a lot of your sauces. You start with the one layer. You layer your sauces, right? Then you can go with a roux. You add flour and you turn it into a roux. But you layer your sauces. You layer your flavors, right? And that is very fragrant. I'm probably going a little too fast. Again, I have a lot of trouble with this stove. Speaking of the oven. All right, the mozzarella is just melting. Starting to boil a little. Probably because I don't have a broiler, yeah. And the key with the onions is always you wait till they get a little translucent, which they're just starting. And they're just starting to get translucent. we have tonight with us? Who else is in there with us tonight? Nobody's
There's
talking?
Karen and Clint. There's 9 of us.
Karen and Clint, hi, you guys are from Indy, right?
Yes, we're in Indianapolis.
How is it in Indiana? What's the weather like?
Well, we're done with the fog that lasted almost forever. Then now here lately, it's just weird, but hey, I'll take the sun. The sun has been out for the last 3 days now. So we've been up in the 50s, low 40s, low to mid.
So it's,
So it's actually getting pretty decent out.
yeah, not too bad for Indiana in February.
I know, it seems kind of strange, but we'll take it.
Uh-huh. So Bart's birthday, he'll turn 39 February 21st. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, I had him in a snowstorm, in a blizzard. And actually all my boys I had, there was a blizzard the next day because I had December, January, and February babies.
Israel was born on the first snowfall of the year in Montana.
Was he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I will be up there for Bart's birthday this year. I'll be in Indiana. But I hope he holds off any blizzards.
Yes, we try to catch his. We'll catch his on the Pop Begley report
Uh-huh.
on there too. We catch his reports.
Yes. Yeah, he's doing really good.
Yeah, I had no idea he lived in Indiana.
He's very helpful to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he lives in West Lafayette, Bart does. His daughter is Lexi, the one that sings.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Everything looks good there.
Yeah, so this is the marinara that goes for the lasagna. And
Yeah. And thank you, Jenna, for the zucchini pizza. That looks pretty good.
so Jenna,
Yes, of course.
everything is melted and it's bubbling. Like this is bubbling. So is it done? It hasn't browned. Do you want it browned?
Yeah, as long as if it's brown, if the cheese looks like it's melted, then it's done.
It's all melted, but it's not brown. Is that okay?
I would say that's like more of a preference thing. It depends on how you like your cheese, like what texture you like.
Mhm. Yeah. What do you think? It's all bubbly.
I think it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
But I like my cheese melted in all kinds of different ways, so.
I'm going to take the temperature down for the lasagna. Okay. I'm going to leave it just a little bit more, see if it does brown a little bit. So, okay, I'm going to get rid of this and this so that we can work on our lasagna. So, I don't know if you saw at the beginning, but we started with the first layer of the lasagna noodles. And so, then their next layer is your ricotta layer. So you just, slather, I guess is the right word, your ricotta onto your noodles. And remember though that you have more layers to go, so.
Don't use all of your stuff.
Right. And again, like I said, Lexi and I kind of love our ricotta, so. And then you can just start now. This is 6 cheeses, right? So you can start, where's all our cheeses? Over here? Where is all our cheeses?
Oh, there, I think.
Nope. They're all the actual. Ah, there they are. Okay.
Right in front of us.
Okay, so I too have Asiago. So Asiago's shavings. So that's nice. And then my Parmesan is grated. So I have grated Parmesan. Pick that up. And then I have Romano, and that's grated. And that's very soft and fluffy.
It's like clouds.
Mm-hmm. And then to get the real mozzarella, so you get the shredded mozzarella, it's not real. So get the real mozzarella, I got it in this, they call this pearls. So I got it in pearls so that we could send it around. Unless I was going to shred my own, and no, not shredding my own tonight. Then we have provolone. I love provolone too. Provolone a lot of times has a little smoky flavor to it. Gruyere, if I'm saying that right, I always have trouble saying that, is my favorite cheese. I love the flavor of that. Provolone is probably my next favorite. I love provolone cheese too. And then you come with your marinara. So you need a spoon. All right. Oh, I should check this. Oh, that's about perfect now. I don't think it's gonna get brown really because of that mozzarella. Oh, that's right. I changed the temperature on.
I think that's what the broil function does, is it heats it from the top.
Mm-hmm. This looks wonderful. Mm. It looks beautiful. Jenna, just looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I'm gonna put it over here. It's off the burner. There we go. Okay, great. All right. So it's after 7, but I am going to finish this layer here. One other thing we haven't added, we'll add on the next layer, is the sun-dried tomatoes. As you add your marinara layer. And then we just start with our noodles again. Our noodles and our ricotta and back and forth. And however you want to get creative with your cheeses after that. Kind of depends on your ingredients, you know. You might have a little bit more of this, a little bit less of that, and so forth and so on. So now the lasagna noodles aren't hot like they were earlier. So I know I have an extra noodle in here, so I'm going to go ahead and use it on this corner. And here's the ricotta again. And this pan is a little bit more bigger than the usual 9x13 pan. It's a real nice pan I picked up at Publix of all places. Because it has a lid that goes to it, so it's good for storing leftovers. Which when it's just Pastor and I, we have lots of leftovers, but guess what? Israel likes our leftovers. So it works out nice. When we're in Indiana, their boys like the leftovers, so one way or the other. So here are sun-dried tomatoes, which give it a nice flavor pop. So that's nice to add the sun-dried tomatoes. These were in oil. I do have some that are dried as well, but these were in oil, makes it nice.
And what was in with them, capers?
And some capers were down in the bottom of them. So good. But I love sun-dried tomatoes because they give you that flavor pop of the tomato. So. Love you guys. And you know how to finish layering your lasagna. Okay? And hopefully you've made the pizza and you're going to enjoy. All right? God bless. Love you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jenna.
You're welcome.
Just let me in this one.